has just been playing very, very well. Of course, he has his couple blips here and there, but they're often careless and not so much ever showing a lack of macro understanding. It feels like Posesi, along with Alutamu and Glory, are always one step ahead of everybody else in terms of figuring out how to how the game plans should work in every single matchup. He is going to be playing the Brute OTK Demon Hunter first, which I'd have to assume is looking for the Brutes more than anything, that half of the deck when it faces versus Gur's Anaconda alignment survival Druid.
I'm glad we're getting to see Gur back on camera again. I think that shirt is very nice, suits him very well. I'm glad that he is dressing up nicely for his GM matches. And in terms of his starting hand, how that suits him, I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably a full Mo. Double Lunar Eclipse, weirdly enough, does start to serve some purpose in this matchup because it's a way to actually kill a Brute when you combo it with the hero power. But I do think it's still just more important to focus on your own game plan, which is to say, find the ramp, find the Celestial alignment, and Anaconda as well to hopefully go alongside that.
That is right. This archetype is not a new one. We saw Shaxi go for survival last week, but I will say the build of it is new. Gur is still running double auctioneers in this list, which Shaxi cut a while ago. I thought that if you're cutting Cthulhu, you probably cut the auctioneers as well because you are running a heavier minion package compared to spells. But you know, Gur has, I don't even know what he's cut, honestly, to make room for all of that because the minions are all still there, the double Goldshire Gnolls and the double Umbral Owls. So he does have very much to hit Overgrowth because I feel that the list is much greedier. And if he doesn't hit ramp, it all falls apart even harder.
Doing business.
Okay, going with the trade here makes sense because then next turn you have the Spectral Sight double jump and now a Tusk Piercer as well. Plenty of draw available. So for Posesi, it's really just about, as we often talk about, condensing it, getting it all in one turn so that Brute can hopefully come down at the same time.
While for Gur, just going to go ahead and guess the weight. Misses on that, which is unfortunate.
Ooh.
Right now he has access to Nourish as a piece of ramp, but it's kind of slow, so he really needs to look for that Overgrowth. And in the meantime, for Posesi, potential Brutes coming online before Gur can get any ramp done is a very big deal. Even though Brutes essentially cost 0 once an alignment is played, you would much rather play them before any of that stuff happens because the alignment will still, on average, be better for Gur. And with the survival of the fittest, he's likely to be able to take even value trades versus Brutes.
I think if you're Posesi, you're actually supposed to re-equip and then swing with the weapon, right? Because you still get the draw on this turn and it sets you up for an immediate draw next turn as well. And I think the next turn is very possibly looking like a Brute turn. You could also just not swing at all, I think is also very valid. Basically just allowing yourself to draw the Peddler next turn and get this Brute in play.
Very true. I wonder if there's possibility to go for double quest completion next turn with Spectral and Acrobatics. Maybe. It's really hard though because to outcast the Spectral you have to play the Brute and the Acro first. But if he can do that, that works out perfect because then he can potentially put the Glide in outcast position, which is another backbreaker versus this Druid. For now, Gur going with that Nature Studies, misses on anything relevant. I assume he just takes Landscaping to dump it from the hand.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that you know, even if you take a card and don't play it, you still can't actually play Nourish next turn.
Right.
Because obviously the coin would eat up the discount from the Nature Studies. And so I think I agree. As horrible as it is, you just want to get something on board. This at least means that, you know, Nature Studies plus these 2/2/2s can kill a Brute. It's something that gives you at least a measure of removal. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. That's spicy.
I think it is not worth outcasting even though Gur has coin in hand. Because
Agreed.
He's seen, Posesi has just seen a very lackluster opening from Gur. If he had Overgrowth, that was a snap coin Overgrowth play. Like the Glide might just give Gur something better that he wants to do. And also for Posesi, I think he has ways to complete the quest even without it that are still efficient. He's going with Acrobatics here. I think trying to see if he can't get any Brutes down for free. Oh?
Okay.
annoying the order this works, right? Because to complete quests and get the discount on the Sigil Runner, he would have to put the Sigil Runner in non-outcast position.
But that's okay, because you can then just play them both, right? And it still completes the acrobatics part, even if you're not actually drawing off the Sigil Runner, which I think still allows you to get double Brute. I mean, whatever it is, he's got to do it right now, though.
No, that was a very good spot. Yeah, he would have discounted Philosophy, and then you can still play 2 Brutes, you're right. If he had just gone for the swing to complete. Even Posesi looking a bit stressed at the way that panned out there. Not sure if he's going to get punished for it, because Gur still doesn't have that much of a good turn.
Did he not just draw 2 cards? Is that not how that worked? Maybe I saw which cards he actually drew off the acrobatics. My mistake.
Really?
He played the Philosophy and the runner, and then he didn't draw 2 cards, right?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might have seen, and maybe it was the Peddler that was drawn instead, and then he traded that away, more likely.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, apologies to everybody involved. Gur, back to him, has drawn Wild Growth now. That's a welcome relief here. Not an overgrowth, but it allows him to play a potential alignment off the top, because the window is closing, right? You don't want to play alignment when Posesi has Kurchus in hand, because that will just allow him to play Kurchus on the backswing, and then his deck costs effectively 0 from that point.
Yeah, that's my bad as well. I just Soul just alerted me that I was in fact being a dum-dum, and it was the tradable, the Peddler, that was drawn off the acrobatics. So perfectly fine for Posesi, of course, to just go for the card draw while he could. Now this, however, looks like a much more acceptable Brute turn. We've got plenty of card draw here. In addition to tradables, a Spectral Sight as well. What more could you ask for?
It's perfect. If he plays Spectral Sight, he goes up to 9 cards, won't overdraw Kurtrus. Works out great. Another Philosophy as well. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I guess you can't really fit in the Fellow, right? Because he has to draw 2 with 2 tradables to get them both down to 0, but it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, I wonder if the difference maker was if he could have equipped the Tusk Piercer last turn, because again, he swung and then equipped another one this turn instead of just, overriding the final charge previous turn, and then he could have broken the second Tusk Piercer on this turn, which might have given him the 1 mana spare to be able to go for the extra Philosophy on this turn. Obviously, again, this is pretty difficult to count through all the possibilities that could come in terms of mana next turn, but overall, it's more than good enough here for Posesi.
Yeah. Fair points all around. And as for Gur, the only further ramp available is Nourish. It feels terrible. No alignment. So basically, what's the game plan? I don't know.
You can go Solar, Lunar. You can't play Nourish alongside that. You could go Nourish for ramp. Solar Luna is then 1 mana off being playable. I mean, it's Nourish for ramp and then get the nuttiest Solar Cenarian, right? Is, I think, the best you have.
I think so. If it sticks, then you try and play the Survival afterward.
Oh, you can do it this way. Okay, sorry, I miscounted the mana available. Yes, the Lunar Eclipse does discount twice. You can kill one of the Brutes and get the Nourish down. Okay.
Oh, he's drawing.
Wow.
What does drawing do at this point? Alignment? Don't you just die?
So what? They play Kurtrus every time. You get punched with the Brute for 6. Like, you're not necessarily dead on the following turn, but you kind of are.
I mean, it depends, right? Because obviously, Posesi's original hand is going to cost 1 into an alignment. If the card draw is in that original hand and the draws off the top are not further draw, then maybe Posesi can't get the immediate kill, and Gur is just trying to reverse the situation entirely by the next turn, but I don't know if all those things are possible. We'll see. Alignment's pretty nutty, but the thing is, he doesn't have ramp in the form of Nourish in this hand. He has just Coin Vate, which will cost 1. The Overgrowth is really slow as well. I think he needs Nourish off the top to make this plan even work, or maybe Lightning Bloom.
Wow, that Illidari and the Il'gynoth. This has to be lethal, right? You go Il'gynoth, Illidari, and then you can just play a glide. You could even go Spectral Glide if you wanted to be able to glide your opponent's hand as well.
Yeah, I guess he's going to see what's in the studies first, and just make the glide cost 0 anyway.
Philosophy, yeah, I want that in the deck. Oh, he's gliding his opponent as well. It's so sick.
Yeah. I mean, Hellscream is just lethal here, right? Yeah. 13 plus Il'gynoth Guild Trader Spectral is
9. Yeah.
9. Yeah.
Literally just
That's
lethal.
GG.
Imagine needing to glide here. Yep, nicely done by Posesi. I mean, I think even then, if you go for glide, your entire deck costs 0. I think you just always get there. But either way, very well done by Posesi, of course, to be able to get the win there. And already we're seeing the vulnerability of this Druid, which is, I think, honestly a bit of a dubious bring. The Mage I can understand, but the Druid just feels weak to a lot in the metagame right now. The Demon Hunter, I think, is far from a great matchup. Any aggro decks, you're obviously going to struggle. And even the Handlock, I would say it's not a great matchup, given that as soon as you play the alignment, you're then hit with the Gnolls, the Flesh Giants, and the Scavengers, which just make it very difficult to get your own win condition online.
Do we have a Muzzy quota? Just it's happened too often to be an accident by this point. I mean, I'm happy. I like it. It's a good injection of humor in what is currently a very bad situation for Gur. I'm not going to knock him on the Archetype bring because it's a fair assumption to say that maybe there will be less of the Flesh Giant version handlocks this week and maybe more of the Delete, which is true of the Japanese player contingent, especially given Give Please's performance last week. And I think that without Flesh Giants and Gnolls in the mix, then suddenly you are looking very good versus the pure Delete version. But I will perhaps criticize the build of this survival Druid from Gur, because I just find it so greedy. There's double Auctioneers, and he is still running double Umbral Owl and double Goldshire Knoll. So in terms of your card draw that is not based on finding ramp, obviously you can't run the Fungal Fortunes, and then it's just hard to get any real payoff. I guess once you do hit alignment and Anaconda, you absolutely pop off, but I just wonder how consistently that can happen.
Well, there is the Anaconda, which in a lot of lists you are insta-keeping, and I do think it's probably worth holding on to it here, just because if you're able to get out an early alignment, Anaconda often just wins the game as a follow-up straight away. And even outside of that, Nature Studies into Overgrowth with a Lunar Eclipse to boot is a very strong start for Gur. He's able to get his own win condition online nice and quick.
This opening Discover is, I mean, insta-Glowfly, right?
Yeah. I know I should know this, but does Guardian Animals pull owls? I actually can't remember if you've discounted them enough.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me neither. I think it's probably still just worse anyway. I was more just kind of curious because I'd forgotten how that interaction works. One for the Jamborees of this world.
Well, pretty straightforward game plan from Posesi here, just going for the Shroud into a Kazakus curve. I'd have to imagine what cost of Golem he takes will be informed by his next couple draws. I think that the main game plan for Rogue here is honestly either Kazakus Golems or just stepping Neophytes. Ideally, you do both and try and win on pressure, because it's not often you can get to the bottom of your deck as Rogue before they play Alignment, and Alignment is very annoying to Rogue. There's a lot of zero-cost spells that become more expensive because of Alignment too. Probably a 5 cost in this situation.
Yeah, I
guess. A 10 cost! He took a 10!
He took 10!
He's
no way!
He's trying to play around Alignment. Oh my god!
Divine Shield copy! He's a god. This man will be the world championship of this. He will be the world champion. There's just no way he isn't.
I did this on ladder once. I thought it was a great meme, but alright, I mean, obviously when you take 10, you are conceding the possibility that you won't get to play it the entire game, which means Posesi feels the rest of his hand is strong enough to do this, and that's just his contingency plan versus alignment. I don't know if it's gonna work, but he has picked up Neophyte with contact, which is pretty good. You can just like contact, Neophyte, step, Neophyte. He has second contact, but in the first place, they kind of need to have Lunar Eclipse or I suppose Null by this point to clear the contact.
Oh man, I'm just holding out for one day Posesi to just tear his shirt off and look exactly like Superior Golem. That's the kind of body you have to make that play.
Oh man. Is it step Neophyte?
I mean, it's still dead to owl, right? Your contact, which is a little annoying because you're really not getting that much value off this first one.
Oh, he just keeps it in hand. All right. Means he's going for an even bigger field contact train the next turn, which is probably a good chance of happening with the secret passage, but I wonder if it's good enough here.
Okay, strong play. How many spells does he actually have? Only 4 in hand, kind of funnily for the Glowfi, but it's still a board that demands answering, and one that Posesi currently cannot do. With a big old golem in hand, that's not what he needs to fight back against this, and still no Octobot. Just makes this a rough turn all around.
Yeah. Okay, Enflinger, sure, looking for ways to clear the glowflies, I guess, prize plunders, but it's just really hard to do that without any discounts, which means that this could just be the last field contact blade, unless he wants to step this back, but it's kind of negative tempo by this point. I wonder if he can try to get there with Neophytes. No, it's just not working with the 10 cost golem.
I just don't think you're getting there without stepping this contact. 16 cards left in the deck. I kind of think it's a necessity.
I just wonder if he can even get there with combo at this point, because Gur might readily get above the 32 damage breakpoint, and he's already used the Shadow Step. So
good point, yeah.
It's gotta be something pretty magical indeed for Posesi. He does end up stepping the field contact. Enflinger played to not overdraw. Oh, sorry, he wouldn't have overdrawn, but spend the mana and get rid of another 2/2, sure. And now Gur has Anaconda. Guess it's not that good yet here.
Yeah, we're still waiting just a little bit longer for the, I think, true power of Anaconda to shine. But it honestly doesn't even need to be in combination with an alignment. Like, just Nourish, Solar Cenarian, like, it's a super powerful turn coming up.
I honestly like the look of Tempo Anaconda here and just play the Umbral.
Wow.
You can clear the board that way.
Okay.
It's a big threat for Posesi to have to deal with. And even if he does manage to clear the board, he then has Coin Solar Cenarian the next turn. I don't think like an Anaconda really needs to pop off because Gur doesn't have alignment, right? And he very well shouldn't even play it by this point if he feels he's winning and wants to play around the possibility of a 10 cost golem. But he's going in the other direction with Nourish for draw here. The Gold Shard Null is going to clear off the board anyway, so could just have his cake and eat it next turn.
Yeah, and then I think with next, and obviously just Solar Cenarian is possible with a Bloom, but you can, I think, as you're saying, get in a Anaconda alongside that as well if you needed, which is obviously monumentally powerful. And so a very robust response required here from Posesi. Does probably start with the field contact, and then if you can clear the board, at that point it does become a little difficult for them to clear the field contact, I suppose.
Yeah, if you can clear the board, which means prize plunderers need to be found. And I wonder if that means Posesi's gonna go Secret Passage to end this turn. Yeah, the Swindles also started to mess with his hand space. Prep is a whiff. You can prep the second passage to really look for plunder. Okay, there's one.
Yeah, I think you have to at this point, right?
Yeah, prep second passage. Or play that. No, it's really the other plunderer he needs, right? I think.
Yeah, or maybe Brain Freeze.
You're paying for my discretion.
Just gonna prep passage to dump cards from the deck, sure.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Not the cards he draws from this passage. The prep and the passage itself.
Yeah, you can draw second prep plus brain freeze, which he does get.
Oh, wow.
To be fair to him, which means he does get the clear board. There is a neophyte in play. Whether or not this will be able to get there is very interesting, though, because he has now used both Shadow Steps and one Orc Merchant, one Ethereal Orc Merchant, which means the combo is very flimsy, especially given that this is his second field contact as well. Like, he's ahead on board at the moment, and Gur can't do all too much about it because of the neophyte. But will it be enough to get there?
I am unsure. I wonder if the line now is like Octobot for the Golem to get down to 9 mana. 9?
Okay. I like it.
Okay, Gur guessing the weight here, getting rid of the field contact. He knows that all these combo pieces are used, right? So feeling relatively safe, especially with that last field contact use. It means Posesi's draw is limited to the Swindles. Now, he can get to the bottom of his deck, though.
Right. And so there's 18 burst available, right? With 1 spell damage plus all the garrots.
It's 24, right?
24 available. So there is lethal available potentially on this turn.
Yeah, okay, wait, let's look at his last cards, because if they are all minions and spells. So there is Shroud of Concealment plus Swindle to draw all the things that are left, but then there's not mana to play the 2 garrots. However, he can just empty the deck and then maintain something else to put the spell damage on, and then play the Swindle for the final blow at the end.
Was it not there? Is it not still there? You can just go Orc Merchant to proc the Octobot and then double Garrot Swindle, right?
Double Swindle?
It depends what
Swindle? Yeah.
I mean, you can go both Swindles, right?
It's not guaranteed, right? Because one Swindle will get... I don't actually know the order.
Well, there's 2 minions and a spell, but if the bleeds draw other minions, then it can get weird, right? Because you're going to draw minions. Yeah.
Okay, but now this is going to draw all the bleeds, so it did just get there.
It could get brain freeze, though, right? Is where things could go wrong. If it went bleed brain freeze, but it looks like he's just got there out of nowhere in what looked like a game that I thought he might struggle to find a win condition. He just gets there.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I mean, he went for it, and I think it was correct for Posesi to take, even though it wasn't guaranteed. It felt reasonably likely to get enough damage done that even if there was Solar Cenarion on the other side, it would be hard for Gur to then take a board clear and then survive. The fact that it worked out for Posesi, I could not tell you the likelihood for it, because it gets very, very confusing with the tutoring effects and the cascading effects of the bleeds drawing you further. I was trying to find a guaranteed by fitting in the Shroud of Concealment, and obviously the mana wasn't theirs, but Posesi found a better line of just not playing it at all, trying to take a non-guaranteed lethal, and it worked out for him. That was just very unexpected the way this panned out. Especially since that 10-cost golem stayed in hand the entire time. We didn't see a single alignment.
Well played by Posesi as well. I think at all points there he understood the limitations of his matchup and wasn't just, as I think I was falling prey to there, wasn't just all in on the idea of, okay, if I'm going to win this matchup, it's going to be through a 32 damage combo. You have to do it in this rigid fashion where you have to have an extra contact, you have to be able to draw all those cards, whereas he realized that going all in on board wasn't necessarily the way. Going all in on the combo wasn't necessarily the right way. It was a hybrid of the two, the combining of the 2 major components of this deck that are so difficult to balance. I think Posesi found that perfect sweet spot in the middle where he developed, he disrupted, but he still had that realization of the combo potential in his deck and got himself, as we were looking for there, again, I still don't know the maths on that. My mental maths is not good enough, but close to a guaranteed lethal there at the end.
Yeah, it feels like it. The double passage turn I also want to highlight as being very well done from Posesi.
Yeah.
Ended up deleting so many cards while not overdrawing on the original hand. Like a lot of the time you have to look at your deck and what's left before you decide it's even worth going passage. because if you have to play cards that draw further cards to delete cards, then you might end up overdrawing something crucial. But Posesi seemed to have it all calculated very, very nicely there. And it does mean now he's only on this delete lock, which I did say is probably much better for Gur to face into with this Anaconda Druid compared to regular hand lock. I feel like that's the main reason Gur is bringing this deck at all. We'll see how it works out because he does have the Overgrowth Anaconda starter. Just looking for alignment now, basically.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I'm such a non-believer in these types of druids. Like I've had, I'm such a druid lover. Like my favorite decks in history have almost all been druid or occasionally rogue decks. And I just feel like these versions that run survival of the fittest, like the ones that run clown or alignment or whatever, I just I struggle to see how they get there. I just think they're in this metagame specifically so vulnerable to both aggro and these control decks at the moment. But, I mean, obviously, Gur hasn't been drawing the best of hands, so maybe I'm tunnel visioning a little bit at the moment, as I hope he can turn things around for us.
You're saying this is not the Druid you know? I mean, what Druid hasn't relied on ramp into a very powerful card right after?
I mean, yeah, but it's like, it was less rigid back in the day. Like, I don't know, like when you had UI Druid back in the day was nuts. Mali Druid, Togwaggle Druid was the absolute turbo nuts.
I mean, you still needed like Overgrowth type cards to do the thing.
I mean, yeah, but they were cooler. The thing they did at the end was cooler,
there you
so
go.
I didn't mind.
Now you said the thing. But Gur has also drawn the thing. He's drawn the UI, I mean the Celestial Alignment here. And Posesi is just going to go ahead and use Altar of Fire to create hand space. Nourish Lost for Gur might be a big deal, but not really because he has Malagos.
Yeah, the backfire does hurt for Posesi, I will say, because that is obviously one of the best cards in this matchup to turbo through your deck to try and find your late game win con by fatiguing yourself as soon as possible. But for the moment now, this is much more like what we were looking for from Gur.
Yeah, on the alignment here. Holds onto the Owl. I love it because he just gets to turn it into an 8/8 with the Survival of the Fittest.
Oh yeah, absolutely disgusting. And with an Arbor up as well, this is looking like a monstrous turn from Gur. And if there was any chance of responding to it from Posesi, it would have to come from an entire hand that costs 0 mana, which, hey, he may be able to do on the following turn.
Maybe, yeah, double Soul Rend. Oh, but then Survival. I don't know. Yeah. It's even double Survival. Whoa. He hit Lightning Blue. Oh my god, double Soul Rend doesn't touch this, and he hit the Arcane Devourer.
Oh my lord.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I believe. Best deck of all time. Best deck in the metagame.
Yeah, this is the next deck that you'll be jamming exclusively on ladder for the next month. In true Dark fashion.
This is the way. And I think, honestly, you can probably just end on Celestial Alignment again, right? You can just go Survival and then Nature Studies Alignment, so it's just even harder for your opponent to respond. Because the problem is that even though they can go Backfire to discount their entire hand with the weapon, if they don't have any hand space, they're not drawing the cards, they're overdrawing the cards, so they don't even get the discount. And so I think the alignment here is just 100% block for Gur.
Ooh, I wanted to see the other Survival too, or even 2 more. He had these blooms, but I guess he didn't want to be overloaded. Fine. Wow, Hysteria. Is this a clear? Wait, it's not a full clear, right? Yeah. Oh, it is. Never mind.
It's just the 5/9. That was insane.
What?
How?
I am... How?
Okay.
Gur's fine. He drew a minion. It's just a second round now with another survival. Man, Hysteria's broken.
Hysteria's mega broken. So the Devourer is actually the one card that loses for Gur on the spot. Any other 8-drop, I think, was just an insta-win.
You're right. It's a trap.
It's a trap. So obviously at this point, even double Soul Rend is not possible, but he can actually just do better than that.
He's just trying to draw,
no, he can't.
so the hand. He's trying to make hand space to draw with Backfire. So
right.
Coil, Hand of Gul'dan, you overdraw 1, or Backfire, sure.
Yeah.
overdraw a bit, but it's okay. The hand costs 0, so then he can go rend, unstable, drain soul. Oh my god, is Posesi just doing this?
There's no way. There's no way. That was the biggest board I've ever seen. That was turn 5, and he had like 200 of stats, and he's still losing.
He doesn't even need the other rend. It's just second blast and
Oh my
drain soul.
god. How?
I don't know. That was a battleground sized board. Gerst is out of threats and out of card draw. What?
This Druid is the worst deck of all time, bar none. I've said it. I've always been saying that. Always said it. Quote me on it. Oh my lord. Like, solar survival, your minions can be the biggest blooming things you've ever seen, but what does it matter? He doesn't have anything left.
What minions?
Yeah.
I guess his deck still has minions, right? He's actually down to 4 cards, Auctioneer, Owl, and Knoll. So he's guaranteed to get an enormous threat the next turn, which Posesi cannot clear anymore. It's just not possible, right? If he goes Solar Survival, it's like, how many? There's been already 2 survivals played, right? So it's like plus 16 on any minion. So like the smallest possible minion is a 2020. I don't think Posesi can clear that anymore. So all he needs to do is not draw the other solar next.
Okay, fair enough.
Also, Posesi is like not even able to get to Tamsin, let alone play her for quite some time. So
yeah, it's a couple more turns, right? Tiny Tamsin obviously is not that great when your Drain Souls cannot be repeatedly cast, given that they already cost 0.
Tiny Tammy. Right? I mean, at least the armor vendor, right? Like, he has to... I don't know. Like, Posesi has to play to the world where Gur still doesn't have a minion next turn, which having your own minion might help you, but does the 4 armor help Gur more than Posesi? I don't know. This is the weirdest game I've ever seen already.
Oh, he drew the solar!
Oh my god!
No way!
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
That is once again 3 minions left in the deck. It could be Gadgetzan Auctioneer, the buffest goblin you've ever seen in your life, just tearing Posesi to shreds, but none of them to be found. This has been a disaster for Gur.
But I think he's still okay, because Posesi cannot complete quest. I mean, he can like tap, raise dead, but then he can't play the Tamsin yet, right? So Gur will manage to get a ginormous minion before Posesi can play Tamsin. So it now becomes a question of whether Posesi can play Tamsin and then just win on the same turn, which don't think he can, because the deck still has 6 cards. Yes, he has Hand of Gul'dan, but he doesn't get that deep in fatigue, and also Gur is at 41 health right now.
Well, I'm wondering if he can soul rend away the rest of those cards, because in terms of Posesi's remaining cards, well, I mean, the big one is actually Altar of Fire, if he can find that on the following turn to just delete all the remaining threats. But there's not much card draw left, right? So if he just deletes his deck with Soul Rend, he may be able to go Tamsin into kill on the following turn. But he gets the Altar of Fire!
Gur has no threats if Posesi makes the read, which I think you can make the read.
Yes! You slam that!
And then Gur's just... He has nothing! He has nothing! A handful of air! Oh my god! So weird! Oh my god! Gur, not like this! I feel so bad for Gur! It had to be solar off the top! And then the altar! I don't believe this. I don't.
Posesi, you filthy, filthy man. Yeah. Bye-bye, Gur. Bye-bye. He's through to tomorrow. What an absurd game of Hearthstone.
Sorry.
That was turn 5 he played all those cards. 5 mana, and he's doing all this nonsense, and then 1 card from Posesi, because what looked like the best possible minion was actually the single outcome that loses Gur the game. The Hysteria clutches the win.
I mean, the Hysteria was one thing. And then just the fact that Gur bricked on all the minions, that they were the last 3 cards in his deck, and then Posesi had the Altar of Fire. Like, all Gur needed was 1 minion by that point, right? He had played 2 survival. He had solar survival left over. So that was a total of +16, +16 on whatever minion was left in the deck. Let's say it's Auctioneer. It was a 2020 Auctioneer. Just has to go face once, probably, because Gur has Mark of the Wild in hand as well. Absurd. This pan out.
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. No words to be said. Posesi, congratulations. You've made you've made the top 8, and you've also made top 5. Let me let you into a little spoiler there, because that was sheer nonsense on that game. Very well played by Posesi, of course. I think he knew exactly what he was looking to do in terms of saving the rod until the Celestial Alignment came down, discounting his hand, using the exact right removal pieces in the exact right spot. And for Posesi, again, the rich just get richer, already top of the leaderboard and continuing his dominance here, sending Gur down 1 and 2 this week, which means he gets a single point because he appeared on stream. However, like we're saying, Gur is kind of in limbo at the moment. He very possibly could end up in the top 8 for playoffs, but he needs to start doing a little bit better than this each week.